So co-creation of knowledge, basically for me, that means that you have more than one type of knowledge. And it doesn't have to be like two different kinds of knowledge, but it could be more than one type of knowledge that are in communication with one another. So the creation of knowledge in my field is mainly scientific knowledge. So I am trained as a scientist, as an ecologist. I do experiments, I test hypotheses, I analyze my data using statistical tools and things like that. But I think that that's not the only valid type of knowledge. I think that farmers that are working day to day in the field, they also are generating knowledge, no? Through the experience of working the land, through experimentation, because farmers also do experimentation. They might not do exactly the same methodology as the scientists, but the farmers are experimenting constantly in their fields. So they are creating knowledge as well. Indigenous people can also be creating knowledge through the stories that they get from their antepasados, no? But also merging that knowledge with their day-to-day experience. So there are many kinds of knowledge that are pertinent to the area of agroecology. And in my field, the co-creation of knowledge, I see it as basically a dialogue between the scientific knowledge that I'm trained on and that I do on a day-to-day. That's my daily life, basically. But also interacting with the farmers that are doing and creating knowledge on their own ways. And so I work on farms, I talk to farmers, and they basically learn from me and I learn from them. And we always change our ideas, no, based on those interactions. And I will give you an example. Basically all the research that I do come from someplace, no? Come from my own experience, and where that experience comes from is from interacting with the farmers that are doing agriculture, no? That are there in the field. And one time I was walking around with Don Walter in a farm in Mexico, and we run into this caterpillar that was eating some of the plants. And he was very proud that his farm is very diverse and doesn't have any problems and all that. And so I saw that and I asked him, Don Walter, what are you going to do about this? Are you concerned about this? And he said, no, I think that I'm not worried about it because in the migratory birds are starting to arrive and they will take care of that. And sure enough, in a week or two, hundreds of migratory birds arrived to this area and started feasting on these caterpillars and ate all the caterpillars and controlled the pests, no? So that generated some ideas in my mind about, okay, yeah, this happens. He has been seeing this happening year after year. So that's some knowledge that he had developed based on his own experience. But I want to know a little bit more. I want to know if this is something that is bigger, more intense in the farms that are more diverse, that attract more birds, versus the ones that are very like monocultures that don't have that much density, that higher density of birds. And so we designed an experiment. We did an experiment, control experiment with exclosures, with birds, without birds, in high density, high tree density, low tree density, and basically tested that hypothesis. This is not to say that his knowledge wasn't valid until we verify it with our scientific methodology, but it's to say that we both are learning from each other. Because one thing that we discovered was that not only birds, but also bats are eating the pests in the coffee farms. And so this is something that he, after I told him, he said, oh, yeah, of course, the bats are active at night, but he had not thought about that. And so, this combination of his accumulated knowledge and our experimentation generated some new knowledge. So for me, that's co-creating knowledge.